Well, hi, welcome to the next episode of Cross Currents. My name is Jared Ott. You know, one of the things that's really been all over the news lately that I've seen this past weekend is really talking about the Pope's visit to the U.S. You know, there's a lot of things that he's doing while he's here, and there's a lot of excitement around him being here in the U.S. There's a huge following from the news, from the media, as well as folks wanting to see him. You know, one of the things that they've been talking about in the news is, you know, they're talking about the history of the Pope. And I've had the privilege of studying church history. I love church history because it really shows us how we got to where we are now. And one of the things they were talking about with the Pope is, you know, why he wears what he wears and the ring that he has on and the traditions that they do, that he does. And one of the things that hit me was, you know, I don't know if a lot of people understand that. A lot of people know that. You know, a lot of these things that we do in church are really passed down from church leaders, from parents, from family. And it made me think about our own church, Christ Church at Grove Farm here, and made me think, do the people really understand why we believe what we believe, or why we do what we do? You know, we do a lot of things here at the church on Sunday mornings, whether it's saying the creeds, the Apostles' Creeds, the Nicene Creed. We do baptisms, we do communion, we do times of worship, and there's times of teaching and instruction. And I wonder if people really understand that, understand why we do what we do. Do they have the history of their own faith? You know, and it's important that we have the history of our own faith, that we not just rely on our parents or our pastors or our church. We really need to understand and know the scriptures so we know what we believe. You know, it says in 2 Timothy 2:15, it says, do your best to present yourself to God as approved, a workman who does not need to be ashamed, who correctly handles the word of truth. It says later in 2 Timothy 3, verse 14, it says, but as for you, continue in what you have learned and what you've been convinced of, because you know those whom you've learned it, and how from infancy you have known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make you wise for salvation through Jesus Christ. You know, it's important there in the Scriptures it talks about you knowing, you understanding, you learning. So my encouragement is to really dive into the history of our faith, to know what we believe, why we believe, and what we do here at the church. So you can do multiple ways to do that. You could ask a pastor. You could get a book on church history, which I encourage you to do. But ultimately, we want to be studying the Word. We want to know the history of our faith. We want to know our theology. We want to know why we believe what we believe, because it says in 2 Timothy that we may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. So that's my encouragement for you today, to understand and dive into the history of your own faith. God bless you.